Jack Lehr here, down in Lehr's Lair. I'm incredibly blessed and humbled to be with this amazing human that I got to meet in Dallas, Texas at a Tom Ferry event. She's one of the top operations folks in the United States, and blessed to have Jennifer Staats here with me today. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Yes. So, you know, these operations folks, everybody out there, sometimes they can be a lot nerdy and super like reserved, but I don't think that's the case here, is it?
No, I think I take operations and have a lot of fun with it, but I get to spend a lot of time with a lot of you guys too. So I'm not always behind the scenes.
Well, and I think that's the thing. When I got to meet you, I was with Sarah Kane and we were at an event where Tom Ferry was had Yvonne Arnold down there, and it was all the operations gurus, and you guys were like having this incredible mastermind, and I was not allowed to be in that room, but somehow I got thrown in there, and then like I fall in love with the operations side of the business because that is actually the magic. And then I got to learn all these incredibly smart people, and I use the word nerd a bunch in my world. I have two sons that are nerds. Nerd is an incredible compliment coming from me. Super crazy smart people that just think a little bit differently. And I think the beautiful part about Jennifer, you have an incredible personality. Like, you're not just this person that's like, you got to do it this way, follow the system and process.
I know. I mean, that is what a lot of people think. If they even know what an operations manager is, I feel like that's kind of what they think. Like, oh, you're going to follow all the SOPs and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no. Like, a lot of times we're the person behind the scene that's like making someone like you's like dream a reality. And that's what's fun for me, because we work with so many teams and brokerages, is like, I end up like listening to what they want to do, them and their agents, and like making it a reality. And to me, it's fun. It doesn't have to be so stuffy.
I think that's it right there. So you're out in Colorado Springs and you have this pretty incredible business. Can you give us a little bit of background about like how you got into this world and what you're doing now?
Yeah. So I'm originally from California. I have been licensed in real estate for 14 years. So I've been doing it a while. I originally started in California, and I was an operations manager there, and I also sold real estate at night. So I also really like to sell, which is probably a wonky thing for an operations person.
They're not common.
And we wanted to move to Colorado, and I was like not interested in, one, working a normal 9 to 5 for someone else, and two, I wasn't interested in getting my license right away and knocking on doors because I didn't know anybody. So I was like, man, what am I going to do? At that point, I had opened a franchise. I'd been running this brokerage for a while. I'd been selling tons of houses. And I'm like, you know what? Wonder if like virtual operations management is something that someone needs. I didn't know. And I started reaching out to a bunch of people, and it just like took off. Like, I had no idea that that's how much that was needed in our world.
Yeah.
And, you know, within a year, I think we were running like 8 different teams or brokerages. I had to hire a couple different assistants, obviously, because I can't do it all on my own. And, you know, now we're out in Colorado Springs. I think we run 20 different teams and brokerages right now. And we have a team of 12 at Staats Solutions. So we run teams and brokerages virtually across the US and Canada, and have a lot of fun doing it.
That's great. And does it matter what brokerage you're at to be a client of yours?
No, we run all different types of brands. So I would say we've probably had a client in probably almost every single one, whether independent, real, EXP, all the things. Yeah. We obviously have a preference on tools that are used because we know some better than others, but we'll help you figure out or learn anything that you have, because our services are super customizable.
Okay.
Based on the team that we're working with, because when we're kind of an odd company in the fact that when we come on and we're working with a team, we actually like kind of give up our Staats Solutions name and become part of the team. So like, we're the operations person of XYZ brokerage. So no one actually even at that point knows that we're part of Staats. Like, the agents feel that we're part of the team. We're on their website. Like, a super unique experience for them.
I like that. And that's probably not too common of a business model in the United States, based on my experience anyway.
As far as I know, we're the only ones doing it like we're doing it. There's a lot of other people that either help with operations, but they're not real estate specific.
Yeah.
Or there's a lot of people that, you know, are in our world that maybe help with portions of it, but we help with everything. Like we have teams that they don't have one other employee or one other virtual person at all. We're 100% all their marketers. We recruit for them. We do all their operations, all of it.
So you're doing hiring services for the brokerage, whether it be sales professionals or other support staff.
Yeah. And that's actually one of my favorite parts. I really enjoy the recruiting and like hiring, just because I love working with these admins that maybe hadn't been treated well before or wherever they came from, and I bring them onto a team and like really support them. And I mean, like half of our reviews on our Google page are like from our admins that we've hired for teams. Like that's where most of our reviews come from, because they just love us.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll either be all of it, or we'll help manage the staff that they have in place, or we'll also help, but you know, actually hire for them. And like we also do recruiting, which I think is fun. I'll do the original Zoom call, and then I'll just send them to an address at Monday at 9 a.m. for a sales meeting, and like no one's ever even met them, and they just put in the pin and like sit down at the table, and then the broker will meet them afterwards. And then usually I have a pretty good idea of what they're looking for, and then they're just brought onto the team. So
that's really, I love that idea. So it's really unique so like, let's just say you have your team, or you're just starting a team, and like sometimes it's pretty cost prohibitive to go out and hire an operations or director of operations, because you know that can be a heck of an investment for a lot of folks. So they turn to you, leverage your experience. So maybe it's, I'll use the word, maybe it's, and again, I don't know, I'm just asking, but it's less of an investment, but you get way more because you have that.
It is. We are way more cost effective, obviously, depending on the area. There's certain areas where maybe we might be a little bit more expensive, but by the time you're paying for PTO, all the taxes, all that stuff, and then you have to train this person. So now you're in it, and you have to train this person, and you have to pay them full time. So we'll come on part-time. We do have multiple clients that are just like 10 hours a week.
Okay.
And kind of like that exact scenario. Like they wanted to start a brokerage, they wanted to start a team. Half of them probably tried, and they just figured out how much work it is for like startup, or maybe they hired an admin that didn't really work out. That's pretty common.
Yeah.
Or they have the wrong person in the seat is really common. So we can come on, we don't have to replace anybody. We can come on and like actually help and coach them. Like, hey, here's all the things that we've seen that we think you should do to make this effective before you start bringing people on. Because that's one of the fires that we end up putting out, is like, wow, my entire team just left because I onboarded them all really poorly. And now I have to start all over again because they're all ticked and they left and started their own thing. And I'm like, okay, let's take a step back. What are you offering? Let's build onboarding so you're actually providing what you told them you would in your contract. Like, you know, just something like that simple, we can come on and do. So we can be a lot more cost effective. And then we work with so many teams and brokerages that we have so much different knowledge that we kind of pay for ourselves. Like we end up like referring a lot of business to our teams, and we have a lot of tools that we've already used, or I can say, hey, don't do that. I had a team waste thousands of dollars on that. Please don't do that. That's awful. Try this. Like here.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, okay.
Probably the best client that you probably get to work with is the one that had the failure right prior. Like they hire somebody, and again, I think we look at cost versus opportunity cost, and the cost associated with, or the expense associated with like hiring an operations or director of operations. And, you know, again, I'll just throw numbers out. Maybe it's in a certain market, it might be like $8,000 a month. you can bring your company on. I don't know what that monthly is, but it's based on the need,
Yeah.
but it's way less expensive when you look at bringing somebody on that knows how to do it already, because we forget that, hey, I can hire somebody for like 50,000 annual, but I spend so much of my time, energy, and effort teaching them, and then there's no pay activity involved there before you get them up and running, and you're plug and play.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We're generally pretty plug and play. I mean, obviously our clients have to like tell us what their business model is and like what they want to do. But generally we have like kind of the buckets that we go through, like, what do we need to do to make it successful? Not only just for like profitability, but like retention for your employees, your agents, all that kind of good stuff. And then a lot of our clients end up liking us for the scalability. So, you know, as our clients grow, and that's actually probably going to be about 30% of our business this year, is that as our clients get busier, as long as I have a little bit of notice, I can add more, you know, admins or more operators on their, you know, team. And it's very easy for them. The team lead doesn't have to do anything. They just call me and say, hey, Jennifer, we are trying to add 10 more agents. We are for sure going to need more support. And I say, okay, great. Yeah, I can do that. I can add that on, and then they can just grow. So we have a lot of clients that their like long-term goal is probably like spreading across different states, or they have different, maybe they have multiple businesses and they want us to run all of them. They'd rather just deal with like one person, if you will, or one company, rather than trying to do something in each place.
You're very unique. You're pretty much a unicorn. I think you're like an anomaly, quite frankly, because it is difficult to do those operations and put together the SOPs and everything else that I truly value, that at one time I didn't understand or value. I was always in the impression, let's just go sell the hell out of houses and help a lot of people and make a shit ton of money, and like that takes care of itself, until it doesn't.
See, I want to hear from you, because like one of the most memorable things for me was we were at that operations thing at Tom Ferry, and I was so excited about it. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to meet all the top operators like in the country. I'm going to learn so much. And then what really like surprised me and like what was memorable for me is like you sat down and like shared how important you felt Sarah was. And I feel like in general, I'm not saying not all my clients or everyone I work with, but in general, most people don't know what an operations manager is or does, and they don't value it. So like, what made you value that position?
So like I have these big ideas and we want to make stuff happen. And then if I get caught in the minutia, guess what? The next thing comes along that I want to do, and that task doesn't get completed. So it's the ADHD, it's the driver, the other stuff in me that wants to go build. And then I have somebody in place that sees it through. That is the critical part of the operations, as I see it anyway, but also like implementing the systems and processes to make sure that when a sales professional onboards and, you get them up to success quickly, to help keep those deals together, to help everybody, because here's the thing, you can put stuff under contract, and if it doesn't close, like now we got to resell 7 times just to get the same type of revenue in with your gross profit drops significantly when you don't have those systems and processes in place. And that's where my mind was at one time, just go sell the hell out of these houses and help a lot of people and just sell in our, again, we're not a high pressured foolishness operation, but it's a sales system. Like, let's stay focused on that. And if you don't have that true operations and those systems and processes, man, it becomes crazy expensive. And retention, like the thing you were talking about before, because if you don't have the systems and process to retain, oh goodness, just like that one day when somebody, 5 walk out the door because of whether it's a misculture fit it's a culture misfit, or it's something else, it makes you go, oh my gosh, I wish I had a Jennifer Staats running my shit, right?
Yeah, it's surprising. I mean, I think a lot of people don't really think about that until they've dealt with it. Like, you're like, wow, I really wish that was buttoned up. And it could be, it's simple things. It's simple things like the agent's contract. I mean, I've had multiple clients that like come to me and I'm like, all right, I need a copy of all of your agent's contracts. I don't have one. I'm like, what are you going to do when they have an argument about commission? Like, what are you going to do there? It's all the little things, I think, that, and honestly, we have a lot of fun with it. Like our team is all like long-term. We have like very little turnover at Staats, which is surprising because you think like operations wouldn't be like a whole lot of fun to like keep people around, but we all have a ton of fun just like seeing we can just build all these exciting things and like look back at it and go, wow, look at what we did. Like this person was doing 80 transactions a year. Now they do 350. Like that is so cool. Like we're seeing agents making $300,000-$400,000 a year. Like that's game changing for these people that are on teams. Like that's amazing.
It's cool to see that. And I think, so Sarah does some, I'll use mentoring or she has some accountability partners with some other operations people with some like big teams and big name teams that you and I would certainly, I mean, I know these folks, but you would certainly recognize, and some people out there listening would recognize. And it is very interesting to see I don't want to say the lack of respect, but the lack of understanding the incredible value that comes alongside of a really good operations person, or quite frankly, any operations person that's, that's doing their job. Because when you lose them, man, it becomes very costly.
It does. I mean, I've had a few clients come on where they like called me and they're like, Jennifer, like what? They're like, I need to hire you. And I'm like, I don't even know you. Like, do we want to like have an interview? They're like, I researched you. Like, I need to hire you. And I'm like, okay, well, like, when do you need us to start? They're like today. I'm like, why? They're like, my operations person left and it was left in like a total mess. And I don't know my passwords or anything. And I don't know how to get in. I'm like, okay, like, let me help you figure this out. And like, our goal is to, if we do part ways with a client, leave them much better than, we did when we started. Like that, it's just so important because we're all running pretty decent sized businesses. We need to make sure they're running effectively and profitably and everyone's having fun doing it.
So when you onboard a client, like, what does that look like? What are you sitting down? Like, let's just say I'm like, Jennifer, Sarah just left.
She'd never.
Well, she has a contract with me that she has to give. I think it's like 18 years and 2 weeks notice.
Stop it.
But you know what? She might say, F you, I'm out of here, Jack. But let's just say that happens. And again, don't want that to happen. Sarah's a beautiful human. She's a big part of our business. I consider her a partner of our business and an incredible friend. But let's just say that happens. How are we having a conversation like to say, I need this help? What does that sound like?
Yeah, I mean, we have a giant onboarding packet that our clients have to fill out. So the onboarding process for us is pretty in depth, and like it takes a lot of trust from our clients that are coming on too, because we're really asking for like everything. Like and when clients ask me like, so what do you need? Like everything. Like
financials, everything
that you can think of that you might need help with, we need access to it. A lot of clients don't want to give us financial stuff in the beginning. Most of them do within like a month of working with us, just
because the trust gets built. Because that's a big thing.
Yeah, trust is a big one. And then it's also just like most of our clients still sell. So they're out, they're driving around. They don't want to have to give us a password or like a check number or whatever that looks like. So onboarding our clients, we just kind of come through like, what programs are you using? Do we still want to keep using them? What are logins to them? I need like agent contracts to give us, if we're helping with like commission demands or financials, I need no splits. So we're really just going through all the buckets. What CRM are you using? Do you have lead flow set up? What's the routing look like? What are the agent splits? And then we dig into like, what are their goals? So like business goals and marketing goals, like what are they trying to do? And what are they currently doing? So we kind of dig into all of it. So like most of our clients have like CSU or CTE, where we're looking at the data. If they don't, we're telling them they need to. And we're just kind of digging into everything. We're just getting access to everything and making sure they have like proper workflow set up and trying to automate anything that isn't automated. Because I'm not trying to just bill people just to bill people. Like I want it to be automated as possible, because my staff frankly gets really annoyed when things are just like not efficient. Like there's a better way to do this. So that's kind of what onboarding looks like. It's really just going through everything together.
So you're around some really high performing teams. You're a part of helping people grow, but like, let's give some like real life examples of, and again, here's the thing. There's so many different CRMs, so many different platforms and lead generation. We certainly use certain things that we believe in, but there's so many other things that are great out there. But like, to help maybe a team that's like, somebody's wanting to grow a team and they need some operations help, and they might come into you and say, Jennifer, like we need help with recruiting. We need help with, retention. We might need some help with lead generation, because we've always used all of our sphere. And I feel this need to give additional leads to my teammates. If that's the question posed to you, how would you help them? Even if if you want to throw out names of successful lead generation, I don't care. Like whatever you want to do.
Yeah. So I'll take into consideration, like one of my clients, I think we've been together for 4 years. I think we were looking at it together this morning. We're both like, oh my gosh, we're going to go through the second rebrand together. Like, how long have we been working together? That team, they're in Northern California, and they were kind of like the whole shebang. Like, we need a little bit of everything, right? Like I think they had maybe 5 agents at the time. I think they have 12 now.
Okay.
They've probably quadrupled their business. And the team lead basically doesn't sell anymore. But going back, he was like, okay, where do we start? Like, where do we start? I want to do all these things. And we're going through the buckets of like all of his goals, because we all know how realtors are, and they just start spitting out all this stuff. So I'm writing it all down. I'm like, okay. By the end of our like first call, I probably had like 3 pages of notes of all the goals, where he's at, what he wants to do. Okay. What can we make actionable first? And like, what's the first step? So this is going to help this, and this is going to help this. So I don't want to improve on lead flow if we're not actually converting. So maybe we need to look at those numbers first. So maybe a lot of our clients, a lot of our new clients are probably looking at, do you have a CRM?
Jeez.
Honestly, there's a lot of agents and teams that don't even have a CRM set up. So I'm like, well, I don't want to work on lead flow, and then there's nowhere to put them, and then we can't manage them. So it ends up being like a stepping stone that we go through with each client of like, you want to be here. We're auditing your business and we feel like maybe you're here. Let's start working at each piece at a time. So we make a vision board for every one of our clients. They end up being really large, especially after like a Tom Ferry conference. Like everyone comes back, we're like, okay, let's prep for conference time, because everyone's going to come back with all these ideas. But we just make a vision board and we're like, okay, these are your goals. This is what we're going to start working on. Okay, we only have so much time, right? Because each client gives us a budget. So we'll go through each thing. So that's generally like CRM. We usually go through like online presence. We usually find that most of our clients' online presence is not congruent. Like sometimes we'll have old brokerages on there. The other day we found someone's Google Voice number was actually disconnected, and it was on all their for sale signs. So like, we just kind of go through all those things, make sure everything's working, because you don't want to get more listings and you have a for sale sign, the number doesn't work.
Yeah, and I think that's something that's not unique, is very common. So I just this morning, an acquaintance, I was going to use the word friend, it's an acquaintance, and this gentleman was at another brokerage and then made a switch to EXP, went to Real, and like on their Zillow profile, they have Coldwell Banker, EXP, and Real. And I'm like, okay, I think we're kind of not in compliance. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe they allow that, but I don't think they do. but it's just so funny to see. And then you call the number and it's a disconnected Google number, or worse yet, it could have been somebody's CRM number, and now it's now a number for a competitor.
Yeah.
It's amazing the stupidity that happens when we just don't, do an audit of our own stuff. Yeah.
That's one of like the first steps we do, which I think a lot of our clients are like, why are you going to do that? I'm like, I'm telling you, I have found some crazy stuff. Like, yeah, it's very simple. You switch brokerages, you forget, your bio in a couple different places, or the phone number, or whatever that looks like. So we just kind of quickly do that to make sure everything's actually working. Like,
great.
As simple as like, if someone puts in their contact information on the website, where does it go? And is someone monitoring that email inbox on where it goes?
Yeah.
Yes or no? Because a lot of times as we grow, we're forgetting that we made an admin email or something. So we're doing a lot of that. We're doing a lot of auditing, making sure things work, and then going through, the client's business plan and figuring out like where to put our efforts and going from there. And most of our clients are long term. So our goal is really like to become part of the team, build their business with them. Most of our clients have been with us between like 2 and 4 years.
Okay. And again, I'm not making fun of anybody, but like, I'll make fun of us, because there's times when we're putting different lead sources out there and building different pillars. And like, we do every month we do an audit, and there's times when our previous brokerage shows up on something that's an online presence. And I'm like, how did this not get addressed? Like, what's going on here? And that's why that, having somebody alongside of you to do that audit, and like Sarah discovered it, and she says, hey, are we still with this brokerage? I said, we're not. Don't be a ding dong. She's giving me shit, and I'm going, no, we're not with that brokerage. I don't know how this is still here. I think this was addressed many, many months ago, but maybe somebody went back and, but again, having somebody that can go and be there alongside of them to help them with that operation stuff.
Yeah.
Because you've seen it.
Yeah, we have. I mean, and a lot of like in our world right now, it's super popular to hire VAs. Huge cost saving, and that's fine. I'm all about them, right? Yep. We have multiple teams that have full-time VAs that we manage, and it's works out really great. Works out amazing. So we have a couple different clients that they have like full-time VAs that do all their marketing, but we'll go double check their work as it's going out to make sure there isn't typos and that the verbiage is correct and all that stuff. And like, we had one client send out like a few thousand postcards, and he didn't check his VA's work, and it went out and they were printed completely wrong. They were super zoomed in and they all got cut. And his client called him and was like, hey, did you see that this is what got in our mailbox? And he's like, oh my God. So it's like just little things like that, just to make sure that even the money that you're spending like is actually being delivered correctly and getting the results is big for us. Like, we're always tracking everything. It's just like all those little things.
I think I want to do a test, what you just said there. I want to do a test of a misprint that somehow leads them back to us, but it looks completely messed up, and see how many calls we truly get to have an engaging conversation.
Oh, that's probably a good idea. Because if you did it correctly where they could still read your information, you'd probably get some you'd probably get some text or something like, hey dude, your postcard's jacked up, or did you see what was just posted on social media? Yeah, you'd for sure get comments on social media, 100%.
And quite frankly, the engagement, and like maybe you do do your team name backwards and just like a misprint and put like three ugly jack faces or something. I don't know, but I see that as something that could be pretty interesting. Yeah.
It totally could. I almost picture like a candid photo that you think someone wouldn't want to be seen, like being printed somewhere, like something funny, being like, hey Jack, did you see what just went out? Or did you see what got posted or something? Would be, I think you'd get some responses.
I'll give you something. And one of our tech stack vendors did there was something that happened with Facebook a number of months ago where they shut down all these accounts. And I'd been advertising on Facebook for like 6 figures in spend on lead generation in Facebook world. And all of a sudden that account went bye-bye. It's like, I was not allowed to advertise from that. And it stemmed from something that happened a number of months ago. this vendor claims that it wasn't them, but a lot of these people at this one place, their accounts went bye-byes.
I feel like after this, I need to know what that is, because that happened to one of our clients a couple months ago.
Yeah, it's probably the same one, but anyway,
Yeah.
and I like they're a great partner, and we love these folks, and it is what it is. We just had to do some workarounds, but so I'm not licensed. I'm the CEO of our company. Again, sold a lot of houses myself, own a lot of properties, and one of the things we did was we did an audit, and this advertisement was running around saying the 𝐥𝐢𝐤𝐤 real estate team. I'm like, no. Like that's the type of stuff that you get nailed with. It's a liability for the brokerage. It's liability. And I'm putting it out there because it was corrected, and we can prove that it was somebody else, and it was not a purposeful, like it was definitely, but it was corrected. But the fact that was out there running around, and we were spending a decent spend on branding, it's the 𝐥𝐢𝐤𝐤 real estate team. I'm like, no, that's BS. But that auditing and having them, folks that understand that can happen is huge, because let's think about that. Let's just say you're out there advertising your team name, it's not approved, and your brokerage isn't displayed properly. All it takes is somebody going, you know what? I really hate that asshole Jack. I'm going to definitely report him to the commission. Okay.
Yeah.
And guess what happens? Now the brokerage gets, in trouble, you get in trouble. But that's why you probably pay for yourself, not probably, you and your company pay for yourself manyfold for a company that's looking to scale.
Yeah, absolutely. And just like we even strive to build relationships with like the various vendors that our teams are using, right? So whether it's transaction coordinators or various marketers, stuff like that, to where I can have conversations with one vendor that's working with 5 of our teams and go, hey, what coaching does our team need? Or what improvements can we make? Where I don't feel like if we just ran one team, we would get that as much as we do, because I'm like, we're working with everybody. And then we can kind of like, okay, this happened over here with this one team. We got this feedback. Let's go double check all the rest of our clients and make sure that's not happening. Because the person that turns you in is always going to be another realtor, like 100%.
Oh my goodness. It's super funny. We had a person in our market. So we did a ton of short sales, like from 2008. And actually we're actually doing them now again at a nice little clip. It's a great way to help people avoid a foreclosure and help them out of their situation. And we had this person that every time a short sale got listed by our company, this person would report it to the commission and everything else. And, they didn't do this right. They didn't do that right. So we had to just button it up crazy high level. And this person was sending them into the commission and the local association by the boatload. I'm like, so you make a lot of money by doing this. Like, what are you trying to accomplish? But again, it's out there. And the people that report you, like we have it, you miss one thing on an MLS, you're getting reported, especially when you have a target, high producing teams or a high producing agent, or if you're loved or disliked like me, that just happens,
100%. I feel like any high producing agent has some people that don't really like them. It doesn't matter who you are. I've never heard of like any one agent just being loved by all. Like you're going to rub someone wrong because there's a lot of negotiation and stuff involved in our business. So you're going to just tick someone off.
Yeah. I mean, we have to be mindful that we don't let other people's problems become ours, but like there's haters out there. And quite frankly, the haters are some of the best blessings for your business. Yeah. So in your business, you guys are growing your company. Is that correct?
Yep.
So you're looking for, teams that want to scale and take their business to the next level. Like, who is your ideal client?
Great question. So I'm super picky about the clients we bring on.
Great.
I have like a very low stress, enjoyable life at this point. So I'm very picky. Our ideal client is really someone who definitely is ready to scale. And they're also willing to put in the work. because as much as I know what I'm doing and my team can help them, I still need their view on things, their thoughts, you know, whether it be marketing content or whatever that looks like. I need their kind of interaction on that, and like the belief that we can do this together long term. We serve both teams and brokerages, but I tend to see like we serve a lot more teams right now than brokerages specifically. So our ideal client, they can be anywhere in the US or Canada. Seems like a lot of our clients are in California, probably because I've been licensed there for so long. And someone that just wants to have fun doing it, like, because I want my team to have fun while helping these teams grow.
Yeah.
That's how I keep my team around long term too.
And you're just not all work. You definitely have some play. We get to see you on social media. You have, I believe, 2 daughters.
I do. I have a 3 and a 5-year-old.
That's got to be a ton of energy expended on your part.
It is. It's a lot of work, and it's been interesting. My 3-year-old just started school this last like year. So I kind of like, I work from home, obviously, and I kind of just spend my day doing this. And then on the weekends and stuff, we usually go like camping or off-roading or something like that.
And you got some animals in your life too, right?
We do. So believe it or not, I actually, being a realtor in California, I really wanted goats, like really, really wanted goats. And so I looked at like all of LA County, all of Ventura County, and I was like, where would be zoned to have goats? Husband's like, goats are the most expensive thing he's ever bought in his whole life, because I found the one house that I could have goats. And then when he wanted to come to Colorado Springs, he drove my goats to Colorado Springs in like one thing. So now we have 7 goats, 10 chickens, and then we have dogs and cats. We live on 5 acres. It's really amazing.
Nice. Are they 𝐤𝐤𝐤 goats?
We have, I don't know what a 𝐤𝐤𝐤 goat is.
It's so we live on a farm, and we had a neighbor keep his 𝐤𝐤𝐤 goats. There's certain ethnicity that eats that type of goat. Really crazy wide eyes. They really look weird. The way they look at you. But 𝐤𝐤𝐤 goats were it's a type of a goat. I don't know much more than that.
It's so funny. No, I have mini goats, and we don't do anything with them. They're literally just my pets. So they don't
do like goat yoga or anything like that on your
No,
back.
everybody asks me about that, but I'm like, I don't want those things outside jumping on me. Like, that would hurt so bad.
It's funny, down in Georgia, there's a place that Sarah and I would go to visiting down there, and it was called Goats on a Roof. And it's a place where all these goats are on a roof and you feed them. It's just an attraction. So it was pretty cool. But I think goats are pretty cool.
I think they're fun. They come to their names. They follow me around. I was literally on the phone with like one of my clients right before here, and it was 15 minutes before the podcast, and I answered it, and I was like, I'm in the chicken coop right now. She's like, you're literally outside with your chickens 15 minutes before a podcast? I'm like, yeah.
That's great. I think it's incredible that you can do that. And the chickens, do you free range them?
Somewhat. They have like 1 acre to kind of free range, if you will. And then we have 2 giant, like 100-pound Colorado mountain dogs that run with the chickens and goats to protect them. So
nice.
Yeah.
That's great, because that is some of the best eating. Like eggs you get, even the ones they say organic and free range in the store, do not have the crazy orange oaks with some of the best tasting yolks ever.
Yeah, I'm spoiled. I won't buy like normal white eggs from the grocery store anymore.
No.
But it's fun. The girls have a lot of fun with it. We love it so much more than when we were in LA. Like, it's just a huge difference raising our kids here.
Yes.
From where we were before.
We love chickens. We've had multiple times hundreds. Then the fox and the eagles and the hawks and the owls and the coyotes come in and have their way with them. It's horrible to see that or hear that, but the eggs are incredible. So we tried to slaughter 1 chicken, and we realized that We just couldn't do that.
Yeah, that's just
We
not
tried it
like,
one time. We was like, we're just not cut out for that.
no, I am just not, like, I tell everyone I'm a fake farmer. Like, I'm a total fake farmer. These animals will be here until their last breath. Like, I don't eat them. They're just like my babies. You see on social media, like half the time I'm like sitting out there and they're following me around. Like, I can't, I'm not built like that. I could be a vegetarian really quickly.
Oh gosh. So any questions for me?
Well, I feel like I asked you the one earlier because that's really what I wanted to ask about, just like, operations managers in general. But like, what would be, you've built an amazing business running all of these teams. So like, what would be your number one tip for like maybe a team lead or an operations manager, like where to start?
Yep. Accountability and a manager of people. Not a babysitter, a manager of people, like being able to manage another human to help them advance in their life and their business, and coachability, being able to be coached and being able to coach. And that going back to the heavy accountability, being able to be held accountable and holding others accountable. And that goes back to that managing side. So like, those are the main characteristics that I would look for a human that would enter my world, that I'd want to have on my side alongside of me to manage a team. Is operations folks need to be held accountable and hold others accountable. And that's super rare.
It is really rare. I feel like we do have a lot of team leads that they go one of two ways. They either really want to like hammer down and like really just like hold them accountable and do all this stuff. And then the other way, they're like, Jennifer, can you do that? Like, can you be the one doing it? I'm like, I mean, we can somewhat, but it really should come from you. Like, really, truly, it should.
Yeah.
Well, how do you teach? Like, do you just look for that skill set, or how do you teach people to do that and not feel like they're babysitting?
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to servant leadership, I believe too, as well, where you're serving and leading at the same time. I think it all starts, and we made some shifts too. We made changes in our team where we leveled up massively on the accountability side. Like Sarah holding me accountable, making sure that I get the stuff done and necessary to help grow the business, and the same with her. But also like meeting with our teams and helping them to step up, but also having those systems and processes in place. With the CRM, knowing that you're staying within your CRM, and then like with CSU for the reporting, that's probably one of the most incredible leadership tools that I've ever been exposed to.
Yeah.
And when we have that and we show up, like that's where the growth has taken, like really been great for us. It's yeah, again, just having an incredible operations person alongside of me that I count on for just about everything. So like that is the huge part and the biggest recognition that I step back and go, damn, I got somebody that's really freaking incredible. And then guess what? She gets to hang out with you, Yvonne, and many other great operations folks. And you guys get to learn from each other and mastermind with each other. So you have been a big part of our growth, and you didn't even know it.
Oh, stop it.
You have, yeah. Sarah comes back and says, Jennifer said this, or Yvonne said this, and hey, I think we should implement this. Yeah, we sit down and have those conversations.
Everyone's doing stuff differently, so it's amazing to be able to take little pieces and see, especially as the markets change, right? Like we're all kind of like, we've had so many different teams kind of panic because we've all got to pivot really quickly, and who's going to pivot the fastest so we can all stay in business and keep growing. It's so interesting to see what everybody's doing.
Biggest thing that we've made a change about 120 days ago is I don't really like, I want you blocking the time for prospecting and making sure that you're making the calls. And we were always about connections. I really don't give two shits about that anymore. I want appointments, face to face. We push for 2 per day per team member. And there's times when people on our team get 7 and 8 appointments in one session of prospecting. Worst case, we get a 0, but next day we're getting 2 or 3. There's 1
Yeah.
here. Face to face is where everything's happening. So we can have those empathetic, curiosity-based conversations and build relationships. And that's where we dug deep, and that is paying off massively.
That's a great tip, because I think right now, like some of the things that I've been discussing with our clients is that a lot of the people that are selling right now are stressed, like they're selling for a reason. And so I think pivoting to the appointment set and you're actually having like a face-to-face with them is probably huge, because they're stressed out for someone dying, or they have to move for work, or whatever that looks like. That's way different than just making calls.
It is. And also just realizing who you're dealing with. Like, it's funny how in the real estate world, realtors love listings. Well, they love listings for their own reasons, not necessarily anybody else's, because everybody wants a listing, right? But if you go into that conversation, realizing that most people that are listing a home, they're looking for the next move. That's where their excitement is. It's not about, like, as an investor like myself, I'm excited to be able to sell that and realize my profit, or 1031 exchange it, or do whatever's necessary. Like, that's my excitement.
Yeah.
But most sellers, their excitement is that next move, whether it's the retirement, whether it's the upside, downside. Who is really excited about selling their damn house and having a bunch of people traipsing through their house?
That is such a good point. That's so true. Like, nobody likes selling. I know I sold my own house in California, and I thought it was the most awful experience ever. So stressful.
So to take that stress out, so there's lots of opportunities right now where you're going out and doing cash offer opportunities, like giving them the option. Hey, listen, we can help you net a heck of a lot more if that's the most important thing for you. And then, like, that's like the traditional marketing. There's the wholesale type of opportunity. There's the cash offer opportunity, and it's creating a lot more listings. But again, people are more excited about that next move. And we as realtors, I'm not a realtor, but in the realtor world, we have to stop painting their picture and getting excited about what we want, and help them get excited about what they want.
Yep. So true. So true.
All this great information. Again, I'm super grateful that we get to spend this time together, because again, you are a big part of my business and you don't even know it until today. So I just want to thank you.
Thanks.
Well, good. So we're going to put some information in here that's going to be able to allow you to reach out to Jennifer Staats at Staats Solutions. Remote, I guess you're considered remote operations, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. So we're a remote operations and marketing company. Yeah.
Wonderful. So reach out to Jennifer if you're looking to grow your business. Again, incredible human that I got the privilege and honor to meet in Dallas the one time. Then we ran into each other every now and then. I think one time we were out in Dallas at Summit for Tom Ferry, and I think Sarah might have been riding a bull or something.
You guys were having too much fun. I took a bunch of video of her.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't remind me. Anyway. Well, again, Jennifer, thank you so much for being here. If this resonated with you, please like, share, please follow Jennifer Staats on social media, and reach out to her to help you grow your business. And I want to thank you so much, Jennifer. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Okay.
Thanks for having me.
All right, y'all.